Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm somewhere in the valley, which I always resent. It's a place where people feel really good about themselves because they can buy a house. You live in a fucking sweat bath. Mm-hmm. You're surrounded by immigrants and minorities.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And
which minorities, though?
Well, right next door, there's like a Mexican manicurist.
Correct.
I mean, you can live in Venice Beach where, you know, upstanding homeless people in tents outside of my house.
Yeah, but I get a backyard. What is your house against the next door neighbor's house? Do you have to get an easement to walk out of your fucking side door?
I have to go inside to inhale.
Right.
Yeah.
No thanks. Venice and the West Side are for people that think they love the idea of the West Side, and then they go there and they go, oh, this is cool and hip. My daughter could step on a fucking needle on the way home or get robbed on Electric Avenue buying $900 jeans. Fuck the West Side.
Yeah, I want to live in the valley where my daughter can be bored, where she can smoke pot until she fucking becomes numb watching Netflix and playing video games. Why go to the beach? Why go to the beach, which is a mile away from my house?
Do you go to the beach?
Every fucking day.
You go every day?
I'm going later today.
You're going to go to the beach?
I play volleyball on Sundays with a bunch of comics I have for 15 years.
Name them.
Zach Galifianakis, Dennis Gubbins, Graham Elwood, bunch of guys.
Okay.
And then I play paddle tennis during the week.
Okay.
On the courts down there.
Okay.
I ride my bike on the beach.
It's the ugliest beaches in the world.
It's absolutely not.
It's the ugliest beaches in the world. The sand is
this
shit.
1976? Have you
ocean
been to
is
the beach?
freezing. Do you go in the water?
Yes, I go in the water.
You don't go in the water.
I fucking
When was the last time you went in the water for real? Genuinely. When did you go in the ocean?
I don't go during the winter.
Correct.
I don't go in the... What do you...
You don't ever go in the water.
Is that your thing? Correct?
Correct. In the summer, you go in?
Yes, all the time.
The temperature changes like 6 degrees from the winter and the summer.
No, it doesn't. It goes up to about 71 degrees in the summer.
No, it doesn't.
It goes, last summer it went up to 71 degrees.
You never go in.
You ginger, pasty-faced
Listen here,
weakling.
you fucking see-through Irish piece of shit. You have to put on 9 gallons more of sunscreen than I do because I at least have some Italian in me.
Yeah.
I got some real piece of shit Southern Italian in me. Not you, you Northern fucking Ireland wet, sad rock piece of shit. You go to the beach, you dump 100 SPF on you.
Yeah.
It wears off the moment you get in that salt-infested, bullshit, seaweed-covered, nonsense, kicked-up, cold water ocean.
Right.
And then you get out and you sit in the shit sand with all the fucking debris and garbage in it.
And I look at fucking the hottest chicks in the planet.
Oh, we don't have hot chicks up here?
Oh, yeah. And they're
Glendale
covered in
is
fucking...
right there.
They're in sun hats and long-sleeve blouses so they don't burst into flame because it's 110 degrees.
Love it.
You got skin cancer on your ears. You fucking can't breathe. It's so hot on Sundays.
Who do you think is going to get skin cancer first, you or me?
Me.
100%.
Yes.
Let's not even enter
well,
that.
Well, because I didn't know you're part. Yeah, of course.
You're gonna get skin cancer
Santino,
before me.
Part Italian. Yeah, but you're not purebred. In my line of thinking is when you're racially pure.
Yeah.
Life is just better because you know you're meant to be here.
Right, and I'm an accident.
Yes.
That's fine, but at least I'm a divergence of two shitty cultures, so it makes me more fun. I've got the alcoholics and I've got the wife beaters on the Italian side.
Right.
Both disobedient to authority.
They're disobedient to their families too, because the Irish hate the Italians. So when their daughter goes and marries some fucking greaseball, Trans Am driving fucking union worker,
Firebird.
Ugh.
The Firebird. That's literally my dad had a Firebird.
Really?
Had like 4 of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. With a bird on the hood.
Yep.
Real subtle, too. It was from the nose to the fucking windshield. It wasn't like a little tiny bird. It was the whole hood was a fucking a massive American eagle on it.
But that's the Trans Am. That's not the Firebird.
That's the Firebird. Pontiac and Trans Am both made the Firebird. You're thinking of the Thunderbird.
No. The Pontiac made the Firebird, and then the Trans Am became the next iteration of the Firebird.
They both made the Firebird. The same car. Same car. Look it up.
Wait, I just watched a documentary about...
Pontiac and Trans Am both made the Firebird. The exact same car.
DeLorean, I believe, developed it.
He did.
And when it came out, I just remember Smokey and the Bandit came out, and that fucking Trans Am, to this day, I put it in the top 5 coolest cars of all time.
It was cool. I mean, it was like a, if you were a white trash guy or a blue collar hardworking guy like from where we're from, and you had one of those things, it's not like everyone couldn't afford one. It wasn't like outlandishly expensive. It was just such a stylistic thing. Your whole attitude had to be the car.
Yes.
You can't do that today. There is no car that goes, yo, you drive that? It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Back then, that was a vibe. Now you drive a Prius or a Honda or nobody, it doesn't matter. It's a guy in a car.
Right.
Your attitude doesn't have to match the car. Back then, your attitude had to match that car. Otherwise, you couldn't buy that car.
Right. There was a time when they developed. They had big ass engines because they had big ass cars. And
V8s. They had fucking V8s.
They had V8s.
Yeah.
They had 379s or 389s, whatever they were. And all of a sudden, what's his name comes along and DeLorean, and he goes, let's put it in a small car. Let's put that same engine in a small fucking
tiny,
car.
little compact.
Yep.
2-door T-top.
And so lunatics bought it. People that were insane bought those cars. And chicks bought what's better than a hot chick in a 69 fastback Mustang?
Literally nothing. Hot girls in Mustangs, for some reason, has always been the pinnacle of woman to car matchmaking. Like I've talked about this on other podcasts of certain girls will drive certain cars, even if I know they don't like the car, it's just it fits them.
Yeah.
Like the kind of girl that drives a Mini Cooper, you know who that is.
Yep.
A little portly.
Yep.
Bad hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she had the Volkswagen Bug. She wasn't getting any dick, so she goes, maybe I need the that's the one level up. But for girls, most girls don't like cars as much as men. Sexist, sure, it's real. I have every girl that's ever been in my life, girlfriend, friend. Every girl I've ever known has been like, I don't really fucking care about cars. If they care, they just want the biggest thing in the world. So if they hit stuff, they know they won't die. That's why every girl out here has a Range Rover, because they want to be able to hit shit and just go, well, it's not going to hurt me. Absolutely.
If I smoke a Prius. Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't care.
I know, and I hate it because I drive a Prius, and don't fucking judge me for it.
I did. When you pulled in, I judged. Because the sound is so emasculating.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a sad guy sound.
And the worst is that I had a Chevy Bel Air. I had a 19-foot Bel Air, and
Why'd
that
you
thing
get rid of
fucking
that?
rumbled. It died. It fucking died. I bought it. You're not going to believe this. I bought it with 10,000 miles on it. It was a 69.
What?
And,
garage kept? Never drove.
It was literally old lady in the garage.
Yeah.
Never drove. She died. It sat there in the garage in the house for like fucking 20 years.
Wow.
And then my father knew a guy in New Jersey, and I had no car. I just started doing stand-up. I took a bus from Boston down to New Jersey, and I heard about this car, and I'd heard the rumors, and I was like, this is a once in a lifetime.
Totally. It doesn't even that doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't happen.
No.
So the guy opens the garage door. Fucking, he's got a tarp on it. Takes the tarp off, and I mean,
it's covered.
The paint job looks like it pulled out of the showroom 10 minutes before.
Wow.
Interior was perfect. And so I got it, and I was like, this is unbelievable. And I think I paid $6,000 for it.
$6,000.
$6,000. Got in the car, drove it to Boston, and I mean, that thing, as heavy as it was, it lunged when you hit the accelerator.
Oh, yeah.
And it cruised.
Because they put real engines in those things, like real heavy, powerful engines. Because those cars were so heavy back then. They had to have been. God, I wish you could Google it. I wonder what the weight of those cars were, like 3,000. It had to have been 3,000 pounds. I mean, they were huge, but they had to put heavy engines in them just because they knew the force you needed had to be so strong to get that thing fucking moving up a hill.
Yeah, and it was 3,800 pounds.
What? Oh my God! I said 3,000, 3,800.
And that was, you know what the engine size was? It was a 427.
Fucking huge. That's huge. That power a fucking truck. That can power a truck.
Yeah.
Like a full pickup truck, like a fucking crew cab with two sets of fucking axles on it.
Yeah. But dude, the new Mustangs, the standard fucking baseline Mustang is a 505.
No, they're nice. No, they're really, Ford figured it out that I think what a lot of these car companies do is they went to a place of like, how can we sell as many as possible, right? That always was the model, but even more so, car companies were like, let's just do the cheapest version. It'll be no power seats. It'll be fucking roll down windows they brought back. And like Jeeps were doing that. Literally a couple years ago, they brought back roll down windows.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they were like, how can we get the cheapest version to have just consumers buying them like crazy?
Yeah.
And now I think most of these American car companies are realizing the cheapest version of these things are not servicing the brand people are willing to pay a little bit more on a monthly payment to get more bells and whistles. And I think the Mustang was losing its name. Like the Mustang started to go away.
It became
in the
early
sad
80s, late 70s, early 80s. I fucking hated those.
Well,
Mustangs.
the designs were terrible.
Yeah.
And then they try to figure out in the 90s how they could make, you know, the design sexier, but the base model still got lower in performance. And then now they finally figured out we can use a sexy design and also just make the engine the most powerful version we can make for the smallest car. They don't have to put in a massive, super high horsepower engine. Even the lowest one's got to have 300 in there or something like that. That's a shitload.
Yeah.
Compared to,
well, also
you know,
what that weight can do versus what it used to do.
Oh, I mean, it's you know, technology has made those cars like the shittiest version is even fast. I mean, dude, a Honda Civic now is actually just a stock Honda Civic. They're quick as fuck. They've just learned how to make all these things better.
My Prius.
I know it's quick.
It has a power button. It gets rid of all your fucking mileage savings, but it makes it go faster. I put it on every time I get in. So I might as well be driving a Mustang for, you know, because it uses so much gas. It's fast.
Yeah,
it
no,
really
it's quick.
is,
They're quick.
Light as shit.
Well, there's nothing in there. It's a little tiny
I hate it.
angled cube. What would you buy if you could buy a real man's car?
I want a Mustang. I would buy a fucking one of those Shelby. You know,
oh my God. Yeah, it's so sexy.
Yeah,
but what are they, like $100,000?
Well, if you say what would I buy, I would buy that, and I mean, I'd be tempted to get a Tesla, but I really want that Rumble, man. I've always wanted it. I've always enjoyed it.
I like engines.
Yeah.
I've always had an engine, and I even looked at getting one of these this weekend. I just signed up to go test drive.
What do you have, an Audi?
No, I don't tell anybody what I drive.
Shut up.
I don't tell anybody. They'll never know. No one will ever know. I talk so much about cars. I like to keep people guessing.
Is it an American?
No, fuck no. No way.
Is it German?
Yeah, sports performance. It's a German car. I just want to support Germans because I feel like they've been getting a bad rap the past 100 years.
Dude, 6 million question mark. I mean,
you know what the irony of like Mercedes is to me is like one of their highest selling cars in ritzy areas like this is the G-Wagon, you know, the Mercedes G-Wagon.
Yeah.
It's just a Nazi tank. It's literally based off of some of the Jeep or the all-terrain vehicles they made for Nazis.
Really?
Yeah, people love these fucking things. But the secret of why people love them is they're over 5,000 pounds, I think, and there's a tax gap. Do you know about this?
No.
There's a massive tax rebate that George Bush put into place for commercial vehicles. If you owned a vehicle that was over 5,000 pounds, it slid into this commercial tax rebate thing because
they want to help truckers.
Well, it was oil dealings. He didn't want big engines V8s to go away. They wanted to keep the production of V8s to continue and guzzle up all this oil money. So he was like, all right, we'll give a tax break to people. Texans probably was his target, people that have big trucks and SUVs. So the Benz slid that thing into that same category. That's why you see a bunch of schmucks here that drive that car. There's a big tax break for that thing.
Dude, when you talk about the people that won't buy, you know, a BMW or a Mercedes because maybe they're Jewish and they've got hard feelings, or just you sympathize with the Jewish people and you don't want to support the Germans. What country could you buy from? American cars? The ones that committed genocide?
The guys who built the country on slavery.
On slavery?
We're like the MVPs of slavery.
Yeah.
Other people have done it pretty well, but I think we killed it with slavery.
Well, the Egyptians were good. Don't have you seen the pyramids?
I seen them, but what else after that did they do? Look at what we did.
Yeah, that's
Look at what
true.
we did.
Yeah.
We built an entire nation and perpetuated racism. Even today, we're still benefiting.
And are able to deny it.
Yes,
to
we
deny
just keep
that it
saying
would have
no.
any effect on people today. Bootstraps. We gave you guys boots. You didn't get the 40 acres and the mule, but you got bootstraps.
Now lift yourself up and get out of the mud.
Yep.
Stop yelling at us.
Yeah.
Also, here's some more drugs to separate your family and put your father in prison. And we're going to keep doing it our way. It's not real.
When you walk
Just keep
into your
moving.
home, and again, it's not a good home because of the redlining, but you got a place somewhere.
Come on, man. come on, the world needs ditch diggers too, they say. So here's a shovel.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
now,
country's the best.
What about a British car? What about a British car? The people that colonized, that fucking committed genocide
Yep.
in India.
Yep.
In, how many
Australia.
different countries? Africa.
Yeah.
I mean.
They sent their prisoners they took over an entire country and made it their like jail site, and then they went down to southern Africa, well, all over Africa, and then southern Africa specifically made apartheid a cool thing to do culturally.
Well, that was actually the Dutch.
British, Dutch, what's the difference? These are bad people. They're all pieces of shit. What's the difference?
There is a show on HBO called Execute the Barbarians or something. Have you heard of this show?
No, but now I need to log it in because I'm obsessed with finding out new shows.
If you want to know how bad white people are, I think it's called Exterminate the Brutes.
Exterminate the Brutes?
Let me see if that's what it is.
Let me tell you. Let me see. Exterminate.
Your Wi-Fi, is it connected to a phone line? Your Wi-Fi?
No.
Huh.
You were on it before, right?
Yeah, it went off it. It must have logged on to a different one.
Oh,
yeah, it went on to AT&T, right?
Exterminate the Brutes is what it's called, by the way.
Yeah, it is an indictment that you can't spin, you can't wiggle away from. You have to sit in it. You cannot binge it.
Right.
I would take a couple weeks off between episodes.
It's like that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it just shows you how bad whites are.
well, just how systemic the whole thing was.
Yeah.
About how we went into, when I say we, white people, have gone into when we colonize, we just, like they're not human beings.
Yeah. Well, that's how they felt.
Yeah, they really did.
That's how they felt. But that's why I like to say, as an Irish person, American, I think Irish did a pretty good job staying away from trying to own people. They really focused on not owning other people.
The only thing we're complicit with is the moving of them, because the west coast of Ireland was a stopover point.
Sure, but you got to have some sort of,
You got to wet your beak.
You got a little bit.
Come on. Let me get a taste. Let me get a taste.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Just a little. I just want to feel it. Can I feel it? Can I feel it? I don't need to be in, but
Yeah,
the Irish, for the most part, are pretty exempt from almost anything. Only because they were on that little fucking island.
We were, for 1,000 years, we've been persecuted and continue to be by the British. They fucking starved us to death.
Yep.
In the 19th century, killed a million or 2 million people, and another million emigrated because there was no food. While we were starving to death, the British were exporting produce. We had fields full of people talk about, it was the blight, there was the potato famine. That was one small part of it.
Right.
But while the potatoes were dying, the fucking lettuce was doing good. The peas were fantastic. The Brits were taking those out and they were shipping them off to other countries at a profit.
Right.
While we died.
While we died. And that's why I don't support that country. That's why I don't support the British. That's why I will never buy a British car, as we were talking about.
Really?
I don't support those people.
Yeah.
They don't need. No. What do we? Why? Why? They've had it so good, and then they do this public dance, and they make their royal family be philanthropic to make it sound like they didn't rape and enslave and kill and steal diamonds from people for years.
Yeah.
That game that they play, like
Again, that was the Dutch, the De Beers.
Did they?
Yeah, that was the Dutch.
Yeah, but they're the same thing. We said. The Queen's diamond casing, apparently their diamond vault is apparently like something in the high percentages of they're all stolen. None were paid for. Not one were ever paid for.
Yeah.
So what do we? So these people that they put on this weird pedestal are thieves, products of incest and control, manipulation, murder, colonizers, and they're cool. They just want Oprah to get the real story out of them.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't understand what that is.
Will you, in fact, play William in a made-for-TV movie?
Yeah. But he's so full of himself, he'd want to play himself for sure. This idea that he's like, they love him and they love her, because they got away from the royal family.
Yeah.
As if they're not benefiting. That's like when somebody goes, yeah, I'm white, but I don't benefit from any white privilege. You're like, yeah, you do. That's the same thing. They don't. You're saying because they left the royal family, they don't benefit from everything that's ever happened before then?
Well, you got to picture this guy, though. Imagine growing up and your mom was killed by the paparazzi.
Yeah.
And now you bring your mixed race wife over and they make racial fucking overt racial stories about her.
Yeah.
And then they go after you the way they went after Princess Diana. Like, why the fuck would you You'd have to be a lunatic to stay in that.
Yeah, but also, I don't feel bad for these people because they're.
No.
That's my problem. Is like.
Well, I don't think they're asking you to feel bad for them.
Yeah, kind of. It's very much like it's like a media frenzy over like, look what we've had to deal with. It's like, but your family are bad people. I just don't care. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
You should disappear and not do media then. If you to me, if you really wanted to take your wife who is not accepted by your family because she's not a white turd like them, then you should disappear forever. If you really wanted to fuck off, then fuck off.
Well, the best
He's got an Apple show. They're going to be on, you know what I mean? Like they're making deals with.
But the best is he also took a job at a corporation, like he's some high-level consultant.
Right.
But he's got a boss. He's not the head of the company.
Right.
So there's some guy that's going, hey, Your Highness, you want to grab me a cup of coffee on the way out?
With 2 creams, 1 sugar. Last time there was 2 sugars, and I said, you heard me, Willie. Hey, Willie.
Yeah, Willie.
Go get that coffee. There's some sheets on the printer. Can you grab that stuff?
Hey, Willie, when you pull into the parking spots, you'll notice on the curb there's some names. Did you see a coat of arms on there? See a British coat of arms on there? No, that's my fucking spot, Willie.
His boss just being an asshole just because he can. I just think the whole thing is I don't buy it. That's my problem. I don't buy it. Do I think that those guys like, oh yeah, they treated her poorly and are probably racist? It's like, what is that? That's the mystery of this whole thing? Like, what the fuck? Of course these people are old, weird racist. I actually said last night at a show, I don't think if you're white and over 65, I don't believe for an ounce that you're not racist. I think if you're over 65 and white, you got to be racist. Not in a like a I'm not saying this in a woke way. I'm just saying I don't think it's possible to be over 65 and white in this country and not be racist.
I would say the same is true for, like, I just went to a get together. It was actually very sad. It was a memorial. My cousin's son OD'd, and we went to a memorial for him. It was
what
very
was
sad.
it on?
What's that?
What did he OD on?
Opiates.
Yeah, those
and he wasn't a drug addict. This was a kid who partied, like, drank as a teenager, was a drinker, and then, like,
this happened to somebody in my
graduated
family.
college, and he fucking started hanging out with these kids that were doing opiates, and they got him into it. I don't think he'd done it more than a handful of times.
Same thing. Someone in my family died like that.
But he was drinking hard liquor, and he didn't realize you don't drink hard liquor with that shit, or you fucking don't wake up in the morning.
Yeah, your body just stops.
So anyway, I don't even know why I need to bring that up, except that I was with my family down in Richmond, Virginia.
Ooh.
Speaking of fucking slave owners,
Holy
man,
shit.
that was
like
Showtime at the
epicenter.
Apollo. Yeah. They had a big stage.
I mean, that was. They could have made a show about that.
Yeah.
That could have been that's like the original Real Housewives of slavery.
Or QVC.
Right. Same thing. What are they really selling?
And so
humans.
So we go down, and one of my cousin's children is a they.
Sure.
Formerly a female and now a they.
Right.
And hearing my cousin, who I love, talk about them. See, I just fucking did it. My point being, I don't think I can ever be fluid in they, them, and all that stuff. Whereas my kids, because I went to dinner, I got home last night. I went to dinner with my family, went out to a restaurant,
right.
And I'm telling them about it. And I kept slipping it as I was talking about them. Mm-hmm. And my kids are like, Dad, can't you just... No, I can't just. I can't just. See me trying? Do you see me slowly talking and watching my pronouns? What the fuck else do you want from me except effort? And I think what you're saying is there are people that make an effort from that generation.
Totally.
But they will never wholly be free of the context that they grew up in.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it from a perspective of like, all old white people are racist. No, I just don't. I think because of the way they were raised and they grew up in the culture, and they couldn't catch up to the times.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Unless they grew up in Greenwich Village, maybe they had a shot.
Even still.
Yeah.
Even still, I just don't. It's just you're a product of your environment and the time. And it's almost like, it's why when Trump is like grab them by the pussy stuff, and people are like, can you believe it? And I'm like, of course I can.
right.
What do you mean? Have you never met anybody else like that from that generation?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. But you can change, you can grow, you can become more aware and make efforts, like you said, but also, you know, you're still not going to, it's never going to work the right way with you.
Well, it depends on your definition, because people quibble about the definition of racism itself, which is...
Well, you're a racist.
Technically, well... I mean, against the British, I would say for sure. I am racist against the British.
And the Dutch.
And you are racist against the Dutch.
I don't like those people.
No.
Stupid fucking shoes.
You
and that's
think
terrible.
you hate the British, but you
I
really
hate the Dutch. Yeah, that's my new album.
And you know what's so annoying?
I think I hate the British, but I really hate the Dutch.
It's got a ring to it.
It does.
And that's the theme song. I think I hate the British,
but I really hate the Dutch. Dun, dun. Yeah, and you know what?
But you know, it is the Dutch are annoying because it's called the Netherlands.
Yeah.
They're Dutch people, and it's Holland. You want to give me a fucking break?
Yeah, well, I don't understand. Make it make sense to me.
Yeah. It's the size of Rhode Island.
But let me be real with you as well. From someone from the East Coast like you are, New England is a phrase that has to disappear as well.
Yes.
An area doesn't, come on, cut it out.
Yep.
Oh, I'm from New England. No, you're not. You're from Vermont.
the Northeast.
Just say you're from Vermont. I live in Vermont. My buddy's from Maine. You're from Maine.
Yeah.
New England isn't a thing. If we wanted to escape these pieces of shit, these people that you hated the most, then why are we still giving them any credit?
Let's get rid of New York, because that was a Dutch name. It was York.
Yeah, York.
Right? Or it was York British.
British is York, yeah.
Okay.
All right, but
let's get rid of all the
what
news.
do we say? They're the same thing.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of all the news. Let's make it a whole new name.
Yeah.
Let's call New York something else. Trash Island.
Hymietown is what David Dinkins called it.
Hymietown?
The mayor of New York, black mayor of New York, David Dinkins, called New York Hymietown.
Hymietown. I actually kind of like that.
Did you even know Hyme was a Jewish slur?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Yeah.
But it's not, it just doesn't sound as mean.
No. Sounds cute.
Yeah. Jaime sounds like a buddy.
Well, it's because Jaime is probably just a Jewish name. It's like calling a Mick because McCarthy and McDonough, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's what we are.
Yeah.
But for each group, there's not enough really fun racial epithets for some people. That's why you can never really that's why they don't get the victim culture on some of these places or some of these groups, because what can you call an Italian, really?
Maybe we need new racial epithets. Should we make up some?
I'd love some.
All right, for Italians, let's call them...
it can be made up words, too.
Yeah, it could just be something that sounds Italian.
Fazuli, like a fazuli.
Yeah, you fucking fazuli.
Fucking fazuli.
Look at this fucking fazuli.
Oh, yo, what are you hanging out with these fucking fazulis again?
Yeah, that's good.
Because I don't know what fazuli is. It might be a real Italian word, but it sounds like I've heard it before.
And then eventually becomes zools.
Yeah, fucking zools.
Look at this fucking zool.
Or oolies. Oh, the fucking oolies are over there. Ooh. Those pieces of shit. You hanging out with the oolies again?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to let my son date a fucking oolie. Yeah, the Italians don't have enough good, mean...
No, there's a lot. There's Guinea, there's
Guinea's
WAP,
not that bad.
there's
WAP's
Dago.
not that bad. Because WAP equates to without papers. What, they came without papers.
Yeah.
You know how true that is? You know how true this is? My last name is Santino.
Yeah.
That's not our last name.
Really?
My grandfather's father was lying when they immigrated here, and didn't speak any English, and his first name was Santino. Santino is not a surname, almost ever. Sonny is what you hear. Sonny Santino is a first name, which is common all through Italy. But he lied because of something about our actual real last name and didn't want to write it down. So Santino was all he wrote.
Was your family pedophiles?
They're all Sicilians.
Uh-huh.
So who knows what kind of fucking dirtbag shit they got into down there in Rat Island.
Fucking zoos.
Zoos. Yeah, the fucking oolies are those are the worst kind of oolies down there.
Yeah.
So then Santino became our last. That's not our real last name. I don't know if we'll ever know what it is.
Really?
Yeah, we don't know.
Have you done ancestry DNA? Maybe
No, I'm not giving my blood. I'm not giving my blood to somebody. It's an insane idea.
I regret that I did it.
Well, I mean, because I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid like, ooh, they have my blood now. But also, I just don't need them to have it. I'm like, I don't want you to have it.
Plus, you don't know if there's some fucking waitress in, Vermont that you hooked up with and the kid is going to approach you in 18 years.
There you go.
Piece of your fucking...
You mean in New England?
In New England, yeah.
Right, yeah. You don't know. You don't know, and I don't want that to bounce back. And the blood tracing, and like, what if they do want to use it? You know, you do sign over rights to them storing and keeping that blood.
Yeah.
They don't like throw it in the sink.
Well,
when
now
they're
they
done.
have this program that they use. There's a private company that has a program that leases it to police forces.
Perfect.
Where they can use all that ancestry DNA. They give their information to a private company that leases it to police who use it to solve crimes.
Holy fuck.
But that doesn't mean that if I'm a guy and some fucking kid is sleeping with my daughter, that I'm not going to also use that same database to find out information about this kid and his family and do shit about it.
I guess that's true too. But at the same time, how easily is that? It's a white guy thing to go, I feel safe with this private company having my blood. Can you imagine how easy that slips into the wrong hands for like a black dude and be like, he was the murderer.
Yep.
Here he is.
Yeah.
He's like, what? How did you even know? Yeah, we have your blood. How easy does it get transferred to the wrong hands? It's you. You did it. This matches.
How hard is it? Like, you watch these true crime shows with these serial murderers that go on a spree for fucking decades. And it is weird that you're pulling for him after a while.
Because you're just like, this guy, he's on a run.
He's good.
He's good. It's like when you watch someone at the tables in Vegas, you're like, let him hit, baby.
Yeah, right.
Hit him again.
I know.
You want him to keep going.
Or even in boxing, it's a brutal sport. He's giving this guy brain damage, and you're like, hit him again.
Kill him.
You're cheering for this.
Kill him. Kill him.
And it's the same with serial murders. You find yourself going, like the Zodiac one. Like, he had style.
He was good.
He had personality.
Yeah, what are these serial killers today? These murderers today, they have no pizzazz.
A fucking mass shooting at a mall?
What a loser thing to do.
Anyone can, and you're getting caught. These guys got away. That's the point.
Right.
And now you realize trying to be that today with fucking every asshole's got a Ring camera on their front door.
Yep.
Every street has fucking cameras.
Yeah.
Every time you use your credit card, they can track where you were based on your phone at any given time. How the fuck is anyone going to kill anybody anymore?
We're not going to get it. We're never going to have a great documentary ever again at some point about the great murderer on the run.
I hope Karen Kilgariff is saving this fucking money.
Yeah, because it's going to run out.
Yeah, it's going to dry up very soon.
At some point, My Favorite Murder just becomes just a subtle attacking somewhere. He only got one.
Yeah,
he killed some guy in an alley, and that was his one claim to fame, I guess. I think we are running out of really cool murder stories. We're not going to have any of those anymore. We're not going to have people on the run. There is not going to be some great novel about killing your wife in the heat of passion because she was fucking your brother and now you went to New Mexico on a drug. That's not going to happen anymore.
No, because it's going to be a matter of time until we're all in electric cars that are connected to your phone, that are on the fucking satellite. And as soon as they match your DNA that they got handed over from 23andMe and they realize they had a drop of blood at the crime, they hit one button and that fucking electric car you're driving,
right to prison.
Stop. Oh yeah, even
it
better.
Takes you to the jail.
Takes you to prison. Yeah.
Rerouting you to jail. Wait, what? Doors locking. No. You're fucked. Calling your attorney.
Right.
It automatically, your attorney to Facebook. What's up, man? I heard what happened.
All of a sudden, the handrest clamp on your wrist, your seat turns into an electric chair.
Execution commencing in 5, 4. Honestly, to think that that's not a reality is stupid. I really believe that at some point, the machines that we've trusted so much, we talk about all the time, how we laugh about it, how easy would it be for them to manipulate all the machines you use like that? To just to lock you in your house. Like we have digital locks, we don't have keys anymore. We have codes. I mean, there's keys for backup, but think about that if the police wanted to send signals and lock me so I couldn't get out of my own fucking house.
Yep.
I mean, think about that.
Right.
Like, there's no override. I would spin the lock, and it would be like a function of complete locking. Like, we're coming to get you.
Yep. You got a pacemaker? They can just fucking turn it down.
Granddad is just, ow.
Yeah.
And you just hear over all of our wireless earbuds that will at some point be implanted into our fucking ears. It's like, Grandpa will be deceasing in 5, 4, 3. Margot, help! We all feel it and know it.
Right.
The technology is going to show it's going to show its its head in the next, I say 20 years, we'll start to see the creepiness that will be like,
even faster.
Well, think about like, did you ever have control over your kids' devices? Like, you know, you can do parental controls where it's like,
yeah, we kept pouring off of their phones.
Oh no, that you should have left on. I mean, what people are doing now is if my buddy's kid, if he's on too long, it locks.
Oh, no
like
shit.
It's a time limit.
Oh, that's smart.
So it's like you can only be fucking around on there for an hour, and then the phone literally locks up.
Right.
So he has to hand the phone back because it's done.
We should have done that a long time ago. They're out of control.
Yeah, but think about that. But what is that doing now? Because what is the future of this kind of like overt control over all the electronics? That's gonna backfire. Locking, protecting, safety, any sort of layers of security you build. It's just easier for someone to get in now because you got too many windows.
How long until you have to get in your car and have a breathalyzer?
Oh, that's
every time.
I'm sure that's going to be the future. My buddy in college had it installed because he got 2 DUIs in Arizona, and he had one of those installed because to get your license back, you have to blow now for like a year every day.
Court ordered?
Yeah, court ordered. Yeah, because he had 2 and 3 strikes, and that's it forever. And when his year was up for the program, he paid to have it kept in his car.
He did.
Because he didn't trust himself.
Yeah.
He was like, I want it in there. And they were like, well, it's $800 or whatever the system is. And he was like, keep it in. Good.
Yeah.
The information doesn't go anywhere, but the car won't start unless he blows zeros. And I was like, that's actually smart that he trusts himself. And I thought, that will be the future.
How do you think we will manage sexual assault digitally? Because that's got to be the next thing where like it's going to get to the point where every time you have sex with somebody, you're going to want some record
of consent. Yeah, it's got to be like you'd have to set up like there'd have to be some kind of recording device
on your phone. Maybe there's an app on your phone where you say, "Hey, sweetie, you into it?"
And she clicks one of the boxes. Yes, maybe, no.
Uses her fingerprint.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. You have to have DNA to say that it was true.
Yep.
God, that's so fucked up. And they put like a little ring around your penis. And if there's any sort of panic or heightened thing in the room, it just cuts off your penis right there. Like a guillotine. There's like a little guillotine that cuts off your cock, right? It stops you right at the scene. And it slowly gets a little tighter if her tensions seem a little high.
Yeah.
It just slowly pinches on your penis to slow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's like a sac that's implanted inside the labia, and if she pushes a button, it releases something that hurts your cock, like an acid. It's an acid that doesn't hurt vaginas. It only hurts penises.
Right. It's like when you rip a tag off of a clothing item in the mall and it spreads blue ink everywhere. That's what happens when you try to go on. It just pops all over. It blinds you. Yeah. Your dick starts to shrivel up and burn away.
Nick DiPaolo used to have this bit about rape, and he's like, how is it that like, you know, every time you fuck a woman, you finish fucking and she gets up and she's got to do the dishes and vacuum the curtains and she's fucking walking the dog. And then a guy, you come and you just roll over and you just go unconscious. He's like, how did anybody ever get away with rape? Did you see where the suspect went? Yeah, he's laying right here.
He didn't move. Who was that? DiPaolo?
DiPaolo. Can I just mention one thing?
Yeah.
How fucking great my lawn is. How's your lawn?
I'm being genuine. It's bad.
You need a company called Sunday.
Sunday?
It's the thing is like lawn work can be something that you look forward to, or it can be something you fucking dread.
Yeah,
You're
I dread
a busy
it.
guy.
Yeah, I dread it.
For 15 minutes on a Sunday, you take this pouch, you hook it onto your hose, and you spray what they determine. You give them your address.
Yeah.
Which I know you don't like to give a lot of information away. But
it's a private company.
Sunday will never give your data away.
Okay.
So they're going to know the type of soil that's in your area, the climate, and they're going to send you a packet, a pouch that you put on your hose.
Spray it on the lawn.
You spray it on the lawn.
That's it.
That's all you got to do, and your lawn turns lush and green.
What does it cost?
I don't know what it costs, but I'll tell you, it costs $20 less when you use getsunday.com/Fitzdog, and it's all like tailored nutrients that don't hurt your dog. You got dogs?
I got dog.
Dude, you don't want to put fertilizer down if you have a dog.
Yeah, they'll eat it and die.
Eat it and die. This stuff is delicious. It's made of seaweed, iron, and molasses. I'm not making that up.
Really?
Yeah, it literally is.
I want it.
I hope you get it. And I hope everybody that listens get it. Again, go to getsunday.com/Fitzdog. Get $20 off your custom lawn, and you're going to love it. Here's the other thing I want to talk about. I do a bit, and the bit started on Rogan's podcast in April of 2020. I went on Rogan's podcast, and I go, what if you had COVID so bad you're going to die? Mm-hmm. They send you home. They go, just lock the door. This is it.
Yeah, say goodbye.
All you're thinking is, I just want to get laid one more time. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all you want. I want to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
So you fuck your dog.
Right. Not your wife.
No, your wife isn't allowed in the house.
Oh,
all you got is the dog.
And
so
and because the animals can't get COVID.
Animals can't get COVID.
Right.
So you fuck them, not hard, and then you get into bed that night to go to sleep. Dog usually jumps up on the bed with you. That night he's kind of like, I'm going to hang down on the floor. You're a little weird lately. And then you wake up in the morning and all your symptoms are gone. And you realize you've discovered the cure for COVID.
Just got to fuck your dog.
But now you got an interesting dilemma. You got to either be ashamed and not tell anybody and watch millions die.
Right.
Or you hold a press conference and you announce, funny story, everybody. And then good luck finding a dog. To be a run on pet shops, dog pounds, big ones that go fast, mastiffs.
Breeders are making millions.
What are?
Breeders are making millions.
Yeah.
Because now you get to pick which kind you want to fuck.
And it's not going to be Shih Tzus. That feels wrong.
Yeah, that's just cruel. It's just mean.
Yeah. And
that's like when you see like one of those big black guys with a little Japanese girl. You're like, oh my God. Is she okay? There's no way she likes that. There was a guy
getting on the plane yesterday he was like 6'4" and this chick was 5 feet tall. And I thought, what kind of weird fetishy shit is this?
Well, I just always think about the damage ensued. I'm like, that's just so much. And I'm not ignorant enough to know that like the vaginas they stretch. I mean, no, I'm saying there's no way the sheer weight of a guy that size doesn't cripple someone. My wife is half my size, and I can tell sometimes she's like struggling because my fat ass legs are on her. Yeah. You think about a pro athlete smashing a 5'2" girl. Right. How do they handle it?
No, it's insane that they can handle it. Yeah,
it's insane.
The number of positions becomes very limited.
Yeah, it's like 2.
Yeah.
It's like them on top or them on the side. Top.
You got reverse cowgirl and you got cowgirl.
That's it.
That's it. What do you want to put a fucking cowboy hat on? Doggy.
There's no weight to the doggy exchange.
Yeah. Except doggy can be tricky with the hips because then the penis isn't going as deep as it can because the hips are tilted in a certain way.
Well, unless you can get them really angled.
I have a big penis, which I think you know.
Yeah, I've seen.
No, do you know I have a big penis?
Well, I've heard through the grapevine of the penis rumor mill that goes on.
Yeah. And I have had girlfriends that literally could not have sex with me. One broke up with me over it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what an annoying feature.
And it was Retta, which is fucking weird.
This is why I like my medium penis.
Yeah.
You're driving around an F-350 penis.
Sure, double tires in the back.
What an annoying thing to lug around.
Yeah.
You know? I have a Honda Accord.
And they're fast, aren't they?
They're quick. They are quick.
Yeah.
They're quick.
Do you wax it?
Yes, I do. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And I use a high-grade wax, McGuire's, only because I really want to keep it shiny.
Sure.
Because as it gets older, it starts to peel away a little bit.
It does.
You
and
see
it's
it
faster.
deteriorate.
You get better mileage. It goes a little...
You really can... Well, the longevity is there. I've got long mileage stream. You've got just a hard haul, heavy hit.
Yeah.
Right? But then, as you get older, that truck is harder to turn over. Because it's a lot of blood flow. There's a lot of oil needed to get your truck flipping over.
It's true.
Mine's not. Like you don't fill up all the way anymore.
No.
You can't.
No.
Well.
It's like a sundial. When I was 18, my dick was at fucking 180 degrees.
Yep.
At 40, about 150 degrees.
So it's not bad.
And then I think now at 55, I'm at about 60 degrees.
You could go the other way and have said 45 to 90.
Yeah.
Because 90.
To the ground, but I was saying in relation to my body.
Yeah, but let's just say it's like this on a flat surface. So you're 90 when you're 18.
Yeah.
You're 45
at
now.
45.
At 45? I would say you're about 55 to 60.
Yeah, probably.
Now you're right, you're hovering in between. But it depends on one good night with the old lady and she's wearing something good. You ate something that really didn't fill you up.
Yeah.
Not carb heavy.
Yep.
There's a good vibe in your brain space. The kids aren't really fucking you off. They're not annoying you.
Dog walker wore a fucking tank top that day.
Yes, and that girl that works at CVS, even though one eye is a little bit lower than the other one.
That gives you an entry. That's sexy because
that's
you know I got a shot at it.
I got a shot.
Yeah.
So that gets back up to 66, 67,
Yeah.
right? Then you can really start to pump and plug. Then I think you're really in your sweet spot. Then I do think when you're 70 or so, in your late 70s, I think you can operate at 30.
Sure.
It's fine.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's very much like you said. It's like it's a truck.
Yeah.
And you want to preserve the truck. The truck is classy. People admire the truck.
They like trucks.
It's a classic.
Everyone goes, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
With me, people go, yeah, those are good cars. Hondas are good cars.
They last.
That's a last. That is gonna keep. You'll have it till you die.
Yeah. Right.
That's my prerogative. I just want to have it till I'm
sadly,
dead.
they don't say, and one day your kids will drive it. You don't want to hear that.
No, that's what's unfortunate.
No, yeah,
You don't want to pass that on to your kid.
No.
I said that on stage last night I was sitting and I couldn't sleep the other night, and I was looking down at my wiener in the crest of my balls, which have now gotten so much longer than they ever used to be.
Are the balls longer than the penis at rest?
No, not at rest.
Okay.
But on the toilet, it tends to rest in the crest a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Because they're so loose at night. And I saw how low they were drooping. And I just thought of my dad. And I thought, well, I am getting older.
Yeah.
I guess this is me getting a little bit older. Because I remember being like 10 and seeing my dad's balls and being
Really?
like, yeah, they were unbelievably long. I was like,
No shit.
It was almost crazy.
Where did you see your dad's balls?
He was getting out of the shower and was grabbing something from the room.
Uh-huh.
And he obviously was, he was just had toweled off and was grabbing something from the closet.
Yeah.
I was like 9 or 10, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what could those... I didn't know, do you build those up at the gym? How do they get so big? I didn't know that was just a part of man life, was your balls get more weight as you get older and the gravity. I just assumed that was like a thing. I was like, is he drinking something to make his balls get big like that? They were huge. And
I powder.
You do?
The stickiness, once they get bigger, they're stuck against your thighs,
Your legs.
and there's a moisture all the time.
It's gross.
Yeah.
But you can't use talcum because they give you cancer. You heard about this, right?
I did, so I stopped, but I was using
Gold
it for
Bond
years.
Or baby powder?
Gold Bond gives a little sting.
Yeah.
That gives you a burn.
I think it's kind of nice. It's a little tingle.
Little wake me up.
Well, they do. There's a company that's
But then your wife blows you, and she looks like she just had a powdered donut when she's done. Yeah.
stuck lipped with white all.
Looks like a crack addict.
A company sent us lube that had numbing products in it. Do you know about this?
No.
So guys who can't last long can last longer. So what they do is obviously guys use the lube and then it kind of like numbs your penis up a little bit. In fact, they do this in condoms now too. I didn't know. They put them in condoms.
Where on the inside?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to numb the vagina.
No, it's on the inside. So it numbs you up to make you, for guys who can't last longer. But I haven't used it. I have zero intention on using it. I just think it's a sad idea that if you reach a certain age in your 30s or 40s and you don't know how to control the hose, you're that sensitive. I mean, it's just a bummer. I don't think the numbing thing is going to help.
But I mean, I never had premature ejaculation, but I know it's a real physiological thing.
It's
Some
sad.
guys just literally, and can you imagine being 16 or 17, whenever you're getting laid for the first time, and coming after three, so like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that scene.
Puts it in once and he comes.
They captured what the humiliation must be to come right away with a girl.
Yeah.
And,
that is what it feels like when you come to when you're
have
young.
you ever premature ejaculated?
No, but I mean, I went. One of the first times I ever fucked it was so fast. It was over in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It was sub 5 minutes for sure. It was like, and also I did that thing where like pulled out and stopped, and I was like, "Whoa, did you hear that? I think someone's nearby."
You know,
what
give
I mean?
yourself some time.
yeah, just to buy some time.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I thought I heard someone."
Yeah.
Because we were outside. And then she was like, "Come on, let's go." And then I kept going, and I would stop again. I go, "Hold on 1 second. Oh, I hold on 1 second."
And then you fart.
Yeah. And then I come hard.
But anyway, I brought up that joke, which, by the way, I put it out on Instagram because I did a show in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and a guy there had a camera, and he goes, "You want to put?"
Where did you do? What show and what Kansas City venue?
It's called The Comedy Club.
Because I haven't been in years. I went since that guy died. Since
oh yeah,
I used to do that club years and years and years ago.
Yeah, what was it called? Side Splitters or not Side Splitters?
Sanford and Sons.
Yeah, Sanford and Sons. Yeah, that guy was a crook.
Yeah,
I never did that show because so many comics told me he was a crook, and then he owed the money.
He let me headline when I was a kid.
This new club is great. It's called
the
Comedy Club, and so anyway, this guy recorded. So I put up that bit about fucking the dog. And then I start getting tons of comments from people that I stole the bit from South Park, that South Park did a similar bit. So I looked up the bit, and the South Park bit was the guy jerks off. I didn't see the whole episode, but the clip I saw was the guy jerks off in some pot, and he was selling pot, and the people that smoked the pot were then cured of COVID.
That's not even close to being the same
Well,
thing.
but, somewhat. So I go, all right, well, what the fuck? I looked up what date. That came out September 30th, 2020. That bit came about from talking on Rogan in April 2020.
So you're good.
But I'm just saying, like, I just love people's... I want to find every one of the motherfuckers that goes, you're a fucking thief, way to steal from South Park, douchebag. Like, do you know what it means to be called a thief in the comedy world?
It's
insane. Do you know how fast your career can go away?
Yeah.
And you little fucking nobody, how dare you? I get if you go, hey, man, just so you know, South Park has a similar bit.
Yep.
I don't know who came up with it first, but I know... All right, thank you.
Noted.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll approach it and find out what's really going on, and
Yeah.
I'll take it down if I feel like I've infringed.
But you're
going to
name call me?
Thief is the only word that, like, you really actually bothers you. Someone, Fitz sucks, fuck you, not funny, hack, all that
Fine,
stuff.
got
Great.
it.
Okay, cool. Write new jokes, dude. This shit sucks. This is tired. Great.
Right, you're
somebody
racist,
goes,
you're homophobic.
Great,
That's
great,
fine. Yeah.
You stole this. Right away is like the hardest red flag. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You mean stole it?
Right.
From who? And immediately when they get into this tumbling down of, well, this is why it's like this, it's close to this. And that's what bothers me, because you said kind of, but I say no, because the idea that there's a gross secret to how to cure COVID is the only parallel?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's like saying you're no longer allowed to compare how women and men XYZ. It's like that's about as broad as anything.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even close. I think the only thing what's annoying about it is South Park is so culturally dominant that anything near them automatically gets equated to, well, that was their idea.
Yeah.
Because they're a cultural icon.
Right.
You're like, well, I can't.
Have you ever had a bit that another comic had that would just happen to be similar?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes.
How'd you resolve it?
Ron Funches and I had a bit that I did about The Rock, and he had a bit that he just had done about The Rock a year ago or 2 years ago on Comedy Central, but I had put it on my first album, and whatever. But I told him one time, I said, in fact, speaking of Rogan, that was Joe's wife's favorite bit that I did. When she first met me, she was like, I love that bit. It was about me saying how I think The Rock, if I was gay, would be the guy that I would, essentially, it physically looks like the guy I would like. I was like, I'm not gay, but like when I think about men and friends, The Rock seems like the guy I'd fuck because I like his tan skin, I like his height, and then I slowly but surely go into this massive, in-depth story about him taking me on a date to a restaurant on the beach and what we would do afterwards and the way he would fuck me. And at the end of this, like, literally 5-minute rant about all the details. I mean, I had all the particulars, like down to what color shirt I was wearing and what the wind smelled like on his balcony.
Yeah.
And at the very end, I go, I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about. I haven't thought about it that much. It's just not throwing it away. And he did a bit about saying how The Rock is like, his sex symbol hero, and kind of went into a little something. And I told him, I said, I do this bit about The Rock. And he goes, we can both love The Rock. And I was like, well, I'm just letting you know I did it 6 years ago. And it was a thing I did. I'm just letting you know, if somebody tells you Santino has this Rock bit.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's exactly
I just said, I'm just letting you know.
Yep.
And if it does come up and he gets annoyed about it, at the very least, I can just be like, I told you. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm letting you know.
Yep.
But that was the only time I've ever had. You had one. You and I talked about one. I don't know if we. I don't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. I think we were at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
That's where I first met you. Was the Laugh Factory. That's the first time I saw you do.
What a sad place for you and I to meet. We could have met so many other places.
It's a weird place, you know. It's like something about that stage is electric. Like you can really fucking light it up.
When it's packed in there, it's like nothing else. But when it's on its off night, you know, it's what's that phrase? It's like when it's the best, it's the best. When it's the worst, it's by far the worst. Where when the store is bad, you're like, this is okay.
Yeah, right.
A lot of comedy clubs. Although the Improv took the cake for a while of when it was bad, you were like, this is a fucking...
Yeah, when they changed the room physically, something got lost, and it suddenly became where, like, bad shows were so bad that you felt like going, I never want to work there again. But it has come back. The vibe has come back to that room.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to make it feel like the old ways again.
Yeah.
The irony being that stupid phrase of like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But it really wasn't broken.
No, it wasn't.
I don't understand. It's like at some point when you're like, oh, we want an upgrade. You're like, but what for? Who's it for?
Right.
The fans never complained. It wasn't like someone was like, this room just seats poorly.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It was just their idea of. That always happens with architecture, too, when they try to keep up with the times and you're like, the building was beautiful. Why did you fuck it up?
Yeah.
You fucked it up.
No, there's rooms that have been around, like the Atlanta Punchline. You ever worked that place?
Never.
That was there for 40 years, and it was a fucking teardown, man. It was a wooden, stinky, barn-like room, but the acoustics were perfect.
Yeah.
It had a beer-soaked smell, and it just fucking worked. It was like a well-worn baseball
It was a comedy
glove.
club.
And they never changed it. I always respected that.
Is it still the same today?
No, it finally got bought out and knocked down. I mean, it was really to be condemned. Charlie Goodnight's.
Oh, right.
Which I think they're gonna tear down.
The Raleigh guys.
Yeah.
No, when I did Atlanta,
that was another one that's been around for 40 years.
Good Nights. Well, you can feel it too. It's got that historical old. This didn't really initially wasn't built for a comedy club, which I liked.
Yeah.
And they made it so.
Yeah.
I was in Atlanta and I did the Buckhead Theater. That's like a new small theater there, and man. I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Great crowds in Atlanta. They're great. Because you know why? Because there's racial diversity in Atlanta, and people talk about it.
Correct.
And you can do shit, and they don't get offended.
No, you get an actual... my friend Chris O'Connor said, who comes with me on the road, we were in Dallas, and we went to Austin first to go. I did Rogan and saw people and all that bullshit. And we went to Dallas afterwards, and he said this. He goes, you know... It's a racially diverse city, Dallas, and it doesn't feel forced. And I was like, that's so true. Atlanta has the same vibe.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a city is trying to be hip. It's not like the East Side here when it's like Silver Lake. They're like, we're a little diverse, right? We're close to Echo Park, and whatever that fucking game they play. You're like, you're just white guys with beards and tattoos.
Yeah,
which is what
that's
Austin
what
was to
somebody pointed
me.
out about how, because I did a show.
What?
I did a show in Los Feliz during the break, and it was an outdoor show. And
In the middle of the pandemic?
No, it was just a couple months ago.
Oh.
And this guy comes, has this backyard, and it's very, like, florid. There's, like, trees. It's fucking beautiful. It's like a botanical garden.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you walk through, there's a tree house, too.
Yeah.
I did that.
And I went up there, and I did one fucking, edgy joke, and they just shut down on me. And I've never walked off stage in my life. Ever in 31 years, Andrew Santino, I've never walked off stage, and it took everything I had to stay on that fucking
Really?
stage.
You almost left.
But because the thing is it was all white people, and I did a joke about black people, and it's like, look, motherfuckers, you think that you're somehow like more woke? I've never seen a white person in your fucking crowd. Go to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Where all the quote unquote hacks are. It's all black and white people in the audience.
It's every race you couldn't paint that picture. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes there's groups of people there. You're like, there's a huge group of Latinos that showed up tonight.
Yeah.
30 of them in one. There's never a consistency there in terms of the crowd, which I love. You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Where those shows, I'm not shitting on them. It's just so see-through.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I know what this is going to be every time. I said this on our show is like, the guy who's the quickest to post a Black Lives Matter black square or something, you're like, you don't have any black friends. You don't have any, because you wanted to post it to go, I'm an ally, I'm an ally.
Yeah.
If you're an ally of these things, you don't need to yell about it all the time. You need to just do things about it, and then the rest will fall into place. But the guy who screams the loudest is always the biggest phony. The guy who's always like, I'm appalled that Fitz would do that at the show. It's like, you're a fucking phony. I know you're a phony.
Yeah.
You telling an edgy joke in that side of town in this all white, mostly white audience, it makes me automatically distrust them.
Yeah, and who are you to fucking sum me up over a couple things? Like, you don't know my life. I grew up in an all-black neighborhood in the Bronx. My entire life, I was surrounded by black people.
But to them, you don't know.
No, I didn't really grow up in the Bronx. I visited those neighborhoods when I was buying drugs.
I grew up in a very, it wasn't diverse in terms of like race because I was born into the Klan, but we had different kinds of Klan members.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we had different. We had guys that liked country music. Some of them liked rock and roll.
And you told me that guy Clem was into rhythm and blues.
He was into R&B, but they would only say rhythm and blues because if they said R&B, it was associated with black culture.
I see.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but I got my first hood when I was 6, I think.
Do you still have it?
Of course I do. What do you mean? It's framed in the living room over the fireplace.
Yeah, my mother saves ours in a bin in the garage.
By the way, fuck the Klan 1,000%. But I was so funny that when I did that show in when you Zanies, you can take a one-nighter down to Huntsville, Alabama. Did you ever do that show?
No.
So when you do Zanies in Nashville, they can pair it because I think it's Live Nation or something or whoever, and you can do a one-nighter if you want to go down after or before you do the Zanies weekend.
Yeah.
And I did. I was like, oh, that's cool. I can do that. It's like a quick drive, and they drive you down there. It was like an hour or some shit. And as we're going down there, the driver is a very nice guy, and he goes, people think because it's Alabama, it's a bunch of fucking hicks. And I go, no, I don't, trying to avoid that conversation. I'm like, no, I don't really give a fuck. I'll perform for anybody, anywhere. He goes, but NASA, it has one of their development centers here. And this is actually very true. The show was filled with dork engineers. That's who's living there because they're all development. It literally was like 300 nerds were like, he's so like stoked and quirky and weird, and you're like, oh shit, it's true. But he goes, yeah, NASA's got their thing down here. I'll show it to you on the way. You can see the rocket. And I go, oh, that's wonderful. And he goes, yeah, we got some really smart, intelligent people that live down here. And I go, that's great. And there's like a 3-minute pause, and I'm just kind of like on my phone. He goes, and the Klan originated in this town over here, right off this road, unfortunately. But we don't really we like to avoid them, but they are still there, and they are still active, and they're very present. And I was like, wonderful. Wow. It's great to have both worlds, I guess. He goes, yeah, we don't really like to associate with them, but they did start here, so there is history there. Wow. It's like undeniable to these people that are like, well, it's a part of our culture.
Yeah, right.
They are there.
Right,
they did start it. But I was like, so the original Klan started right outside of Huntsville in this small town. I don't remember what the town was.
Oh, because I had heard it was Indiana, actually.
Yeah, he claims that this is the, whatever, one of the original branches was born out of this grouping. Maybe they were the cool ones. Maybe they were the coolest ones. Indiana seems like they wouldn't have been as cool.
Without the deep Southern redneck accent, the racism doesn't feel as strong.
Right. When someone has like a Midwest accent and they say the N-word, you're like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
But down south, they say, you're like, there it is.
They really roll it.
There it is. Yeah, they really let it roll.
Yeah.
There it is. That sounds right for you.
Can we talk about the golf tournament yesterday? Fucking Phil Mickelson at 50 wins the goddamn PGA.
The lefty. And I knew Brooks was going to lose. I knew it. I could feel it.
He was sitting in second the whole weekend, right?
But, and I knew he was going to lose I just could feel it that when he was trading, when it'd be bogey, birdie, swap, when they at the top, when they both swapped, I knew that was fuel for Phil's fire because as a veteran, that's just like the greatest predicament to put you in. It's like Jordan saying he used to love being down.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I fucking love being down.
Right.
Because when you're up, just like everything, I watch F1, those guys love being in third or fourth P because they're like, oh, bitch, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. So
Phil loved the idea that if he could smash him on the front nine with his back and forth, that the back nine was going to be a fucking cakewalk. It was. It was so obvious he was going to win. I'm happy for the guy, but I do like Koepka, and I did see that story about he asked for an autograph when he was 8. Did you see that?
From Mickelson?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And Mickelson said no. He goes, "How did you get beyond the ropes? You shouldn't be over here."
Oh, shit.
So Brooks wanted to beat the shit out of him.
No shit.
You could tell they don't like each other.
Way to not hold on to a grudge, Koepka.
Come on, man. You could tell they don't like each other because when they sign each other's cards, people that know, I don't know how much your fans know about golf, but you have to be a witness on the other person's scorecard to validate it before they turn it in. Otherwise, you can get disqualified.
Yeah.
So they have to stand at that fucking table and hand each other their cards, and you rip across your receipt to match the numbers. And when the cameras are on Phil right before he calls his wife, and when he hands Brooks the card, man, it's like such a sign my card, bitch. Like it was such
really?
like oh man. And Brooks, the way he took it, even knowing cameras on, the way he took it was kind of like, give me the fucking, like one of those like, give me the fucking.
I get the sense that I've always gotten the sense that Mickelson is not a nice guy. Like, he had a thing with Tom Watson.
Yes.
They had a beef going on for years.
There's rumors that I can't personally validate, but there's a lot of rumors, and I know some professional golfers. I'm friends with some of them. They tell a lot of stories that Phil isn't really a pleasant dude. They don't. Yeah. He's got a lot of enemies. In the game. Now, granted, the best are always going to have enemies. When you're the top dog, people are going to hate you. Yeah. But I think there's people that hate him because of behavior off the course, because he's kind of an asshole. I think the problem with him is that he had such a lack of masters for such a dominant player. Yeah. He didn't he never not masters Grand Slam majors. Majors, yeah. He only won his first Masters like 2000. How long ago was it? Like 10 maybe? Yeah, 12 maybe, that's right. Yeah, right around then. And I just think that he was a guy, he's like Bill Maher. He's the guy that knew he was as good as everybody else, but he wasn't getting the big break yet. And so like Bill Maher to this day is fucking miserable and is resentful, even though it's like he's got a show. Had a show on the air for 25 years. He's had a show on the air. But Seinfeld and Reiser got the shows first, and it fucking pissed him off. But what do you think those guys want? I think about that all the time. Like, what do you want? I think they want to be asked to host the Oscars. I think that's the big thing. That's like my genuine nightmare. Yeah. Like that's like a genuine. To have to do a song and dance during the opening number. I don't want to do that. Yeah. For the trophy show. Remember Letterman did it, and he thought he wanted it, and then he did it, and he went, "This was not me." But it's like when Stern did fucking America's Got Talent. That was so. Think about your fucking choices. Well, but Stern did it because, truth be told, I've always been a Howard fan, but Howard in his latter years, I think, has realized that the ride is going to end soon, whether it's forced by the hand of the low numbers of Sirius or whatever, or because podcasting is changing the game. Even though I remember him touting that so heavily, being like, podcasting is bullshit. You're like, really? Because these numbers are crushing what you guys are doing now. Mm-hmm. Like, there's guys in podcasts. If Karen Kilgore, that show probably buries Howard Stern's show now. But like, I think he's really realized that he might as well just start fucking off and just doing whatever kind of at the whim and not preserve that old thing, because I think he knows that the ride's going to end soon. I don't mean death. I just mean he will say goodnight. I think that if Stern were to go to, and I love Stern. Obviously, I've been on the show like 50 times. Yeah, I am a fan. He's one of the guys you can say truly was a pioneer in changing a medium. 100%. But I think that he made a mistake in going to Sirius. I think if he'd gone into podcasting, instead of limiting his audience, it would have exponentially grown. Couldn't agree. There's just nobody better. I really don't believe anybody is close to as good as he is interviewing, riffing, understanding which of his staff members or callers is somebody that needs to be groomed to be a regular on the show. Right. Rhythm, when things are bogging down. And his instincts about everything are better than anybody that's ever done it. No, they are. It's just the problem is you're limiting your reach at some point with Sirius. Like, at some point he should have been in the podcast game, and I mean, could you imagine the money there? I mean, the money made so much more money. I mean, like, they thought that deal was, what was his Sirius deal? It was something. He got $500 million for like 4 or 5 years. Can you imagine though? And then he got it again. But he would have made that times 10 in the podcasting world, because God knows what would the limits of that be, particularly because here's a guy that does, a daily show for how many hours they're on for.
Well, it used to be 5 hours a day, 5 days a week.
But now
he does 3 days a week for 3 hours a day.
Yeah, man. Even still, that's like what Rogan was basically doing, 4 shows a week or whatever. At some point, he did 5 some weeks.
Yeah.
And then money that he was making. I mean, I don't even know. I've done the bad math, and even the bad math is scary. Where you're like, that's too much money.
Yeah.
You couldn't spend it in a lifetime.
Right.
So I don't even know why Howard ended up continuing on with Sirius, but I think it's why Letterman did his show. I didn't love it, and I am such a Dave fan. Like, he was my fucking favorite.
Yeah.
But I didn't love the new iteration of his interview show because
I didn't even watch it because I knew it wouldn't be as good as his old show, and I didn't want to go out like that.
Yeah,
I didn't want that to be my most recent
memory. I just
memory.
don't know why it was in a theater and why he wouldn't just do a Letterman-esque thing, which would be in a small private space. I think why Larry King was so dominatory in his latter years, because that little him in a room with one person at a desk, it was fucking great.
Right.
That's all I
Charlie
wanted
Rose,
to see.
Man.
That's all you want.
Yeah.
Give it right here. That's all people wanted to see or hear. And doing in that theater was such a show that I was, I don't know. It just didn't feel. It's like doing your first special at a 6,000 seater, and you're like, what are you doing?
I made that mistake when I did my last special.
I did
because I'm a club guy. I'm not a theater guy, and I did it in a big theater. I did it in a fucking 1,700 seat theater. My rhythm was off. Yeah.
It's
and then
so
the
bad.
late show, I didn't sell out because I can't sell 3,400 seats.
Because that's a fuckload
night.
of tickets.
So it was a huge mistake.
Same. I did the same thing. The bullshit thing I did, the special I did with Showtime that I never loved, and I wasn't really ready with it. And it was at the Vic in Chicago, which was a huge, great thing for me to be able to do. But I was bummed. I was like, this is too big. It's too grandiose. Like that comedy never lives in that world.
And I did the same thing. I did mine in my hometown, Tarrytown, New York. There's this theater from the 1800s called the Music Hall, and so it meant something to go there. But you should play it sometime. You'd fucking love it.
In Tarrytown?
Tarrytown. It's about a half hour north of the city.
When you go back to Tarrytown and you show your face, what do they say?
I think the town has changed. It's become very hip. For like hipsters from Brooklyn have all moved there because it's a charming old town. When I grew up there, it was a very different town. It was a GM town. It was a factory town. There was projects downtown. It was a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanic people, and those people are all gone. It's been gentrified.
It's all white.
It's all white now. Nobody knows me.
That's such a weird. It's nice to be from a place that. Like Chicago that I love because it doesn't really change that. I mean, it changes, but it's still the Chicago. I mean, obviously I don't go there. It doesn't make any noise when I'm there. It's a big city.
Yeah.
But like, I like that it still feels the same when I go home.
Right.
Like nothing really changed. I mean, architecture.
What town are you from?
From Chicago.
What part?
Well, the near north side. What is now like River North.
Because my son goes to DePaul.
Yeah.
And he's in, what's that area called?
What do you mean?
Of Chicago.
By DePaul?
Yeah.
With the neighborhood he lives in?
Yeah.
Where I don't know where he lives. He lives right next to the school?
Well, DePaul is in, what's it called?
Lincoln Park?
Lincoln Park.
Yeah. Does he live in Lincoln Park?
Lives in Lincoln Park.
Oh, okay. I thought you yeah. Well, he either lives in Lincoln Park or usually kids live in like,
He might be one stop
Wicker
north
Park
of there.
over there. Yeah,
he might be like Wicker Park.
Yeah, something like whatever's up and over there. Those kids usually live all over the place. That's like the hip, cool areas. But that's south of, And then I lived in the city till my mom got remarried, and then we moved to the western suburbs.
Did you go to Boys Town at all?
Oh, that's where I got my kicks. Yeah. This idea that I might not be gay is what annoys me about the media.
Yeah.
That they joke about, he's not gay, he's joking.
Uh-huh.
Says who?
Yeah.
If people are going to be allowed to be called they and them, and why can't I be gay? It's like I'm not allowed to be gay because like you're too cis, you're too straight.
I know.
Says fucking who?
I know. It's fucking 2021. If a guy like you can't get on all fours and just take a fucking pounding without people saying he's not enjoying it, he's not into it, this is being forced on him.
Right. It's just it makes me sick.
Yeah.
But my time won't come.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean. Pun intended, we will, but it won't come anytime soon because, they don't want to recognize my plight because I'm such a cis-looking guy.
Yep.
He looks like such a bro.
Yeah, 2 words. The Village People.
Right.
Construction worker. Cowboy.
Cop, right?
Cop.
Indian.
Yep.
I mean,
Doesn't get any manlier than that.
right. So so those guys weren't gay. Is that what that is?
Podcaster. If there was a Village People today, a podcaster would be like 6th member.
Of course.
Yeah.
The gayest of the team, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a guy in podcasting that isn't at least questioning their sexuality. I think it's part of the rhythm of the show.
Yeah.
I think as you grow in podcasting, you learn you're probably gay. I mean, there's a good chance. Why else would you do it?
Well, that's why you have different kinds of guests on, because like I remember early on when I had on Ant, and I was like, this will be fun. He's a comedian. Part of me kind of wanted to be alone in a room with a gay guy and just feel what it was like, and then baby steps, and then you have Bobby Lee as your partner.
Correct. Like the idea that me and him aren't going to go out for dinner and drinks afterwards to talk about the show. It's like, who do you think that's for?
Yeah, and where does that go?
Right.
Where does that go?
Whose house? Whose house does this end up at?
Has he had a gay affair?
Yeah, a lot.
He has? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
He's had a couple of penises in his mouth before, but no penetration as far as he says.
Yeah.
But also, I'm fully supportive of it. I mean, he's a fetish.
Yeah.
He's a fetish, a short, pudgy Asian guy. That's for sure a fetish.
Oh, yeah.
So I say capitalize on it now before, he turns 50 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think once you hit 50, if you haven't really indulged in your fetish, you might never do it.
It's true. The ship sailed on the threesome with the wife because I brought the idea up with her early in the marriage. We met when we were 30, so the clock was already ticking.
Yeah, that's already getting close. After post 30, it's kind of like you're real settled in what you're willing to try.
But also presentation. Your body in your 30s is not what it was in the 20s.
Yeah, but you're a thin guy.
Yeah, I'm not bad.
And she's in good shape.
She's in great shape.
Well, so it's kind of like what's really missing?
But at 55, does anybody really want to have a 3? Because the idea was definitely in the mix. It was not like, it wasn't like, hey, let's have a 3-way. And she was like, great. Who should? It was more like, look, shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happens, if something happened, I might be open. And to me, which just means giant fucking stage doors just swung open, And now, but now I feel like at 55, it would just be.
Could you buy somebody? Would she be okay with purchasing?
Now that's an option.
Because I feel like that's the move. Is if you say, well, we're not going to meet someone at a bar.
Yeah.
That's not even a reality anymore.
Yeah.
But we could get a professional, because now everyone's so sex positive. OnlyFans is like saying I have a fucking Facebook page now. It's like everyone has one. Now everyone's sex positive of sex work. Don't shame, don't kink shame, don't sex. So now, more than ever, I think we should be able to go up to our significant others and say, look, I'm going to get an escort for us. If we want to be sex pos in this house, let's hire someone.
Can I suggest an alternative strategy?
What?
Why bring her into the business end of it? We go to a bar. Mm-hmm. Beautiful Asian girl comes up, starts flirting with her.
Yep.
I look at her. She looks at me. We all look at each other. One thing leads to another. Just tip her discreetly at the end of the night.
Nobody knows that she didn't get. Also, I mean, now with digital payment, you Venmo her and you're fine.
Right.
And say you got the payment.
Yep.
I got the payment. You give her a wink and a nod, and your wife says, "That's wild. We met that stunning little Asian girl."
Yep.
At that shitty bar that we go to.
And nobody attractive ever comes in there.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, what? And why us, I wonder?
Yeah.
But you've got all those answers pre-planned.
Yeah.
What do you mean, why us? Look at us. We're on fucking fire lately. Look at how sexy you are.
We've been doing that 20-minute core workout, and it is really paying off in spades.
And did you see the other schlubby pieces of shit in there? We were glowing. She needed someone like us to save her.
Yeah.
Plus, she's got her backstory, which I think is great. She's obviously fresh out of a divorce, she gets to say. Her husband left her for some other fucking scumbag. You know what I mean? She
hates young people. They're so stupid. They don't talk about anything
dumb.
Interesting.
Right. And your wife, who's obviously intellectual, she likes books and she has fine tastes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
But she's not snobby.
Right.
It's just enough.
Yeah.
Where you can mock the super snobs, but you can also kind of shit on the really gross, low stuff.
And she loves big dicks and C-section scars. Those are her 2 things.
2 things that she likes.
Yeah.
And she says that off the jump.
Right.
She goes, I'm just sick of these perfect bodies.
Yeah.
And your wife says, I know, well, tell me about it. I'm flawed like any woman. And she goes, I just think this idea that women shouldn't have like a C-section scar, for example, is insane.
Ding, ding, ding,
It sets
ding.
it off. And she goes, oh my God, please, I do have one. And she goes, I think they're fucking beautiful. They're a sign of life.
Right.
And they're just a sign of growth as a woman.
And it's a sign that the vagina has not been fucking stretched
Mutilated.
out. Yeah.
And then she says, well, oddly enough, it has been because my husband is packing a F-350.
Mm-hmm.
And the Asian girl goes, honestly, if I see a guy with a small dick, I'm vomiting. She goes, I cannot have on anything under 7 or 8.
And then I say vomiting. That's my fetish.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then this becomes this little kind of trading back and forth, little quips and moments.
Uh-huh.
And she's the first one to say it, obviously. She goes, I'm tired. And your wife kind of gets a little bummed and she goes, fuck. She's going, all right, well, that's the end of the night. This was a great little whim. And she goes, why don't we all go somewhere?
Yeah.
And your wife says, this is crazy. You're going to think I'm nuts, but we live so close.
We're right around the corner.
It's like almost stupid. I mean, you know, and I don't know if
and my wife doesn't put together that I clean the place that day, which I never clean
do.
the place.
You never do.
Lit
and it's
candles.
sparkling. Yeah, and it smells good,
Yeah.
right? So this girl says, fuck it. You know what? Yes, I'm going to say yes.
Uh-huh.
You go back, you're sitting on the couch. Everything's kind of lined up really well. And what do you want to drink? And she says, I like to drink what everyone's drinking, which is really nice. It makes it easy on you. Of course, you make everybody, you know, what you make.
Come cocktails.
And she's sipping slowly, loving it. And she says, you know what really annoys me about LA is that people feel like they can't just be like free.
Yeah. And
your wife says, what do you mean? And she takes off her shirt and she's like, I just want to feel like there isn't this discomfort with clothes.
Right.
I can be naked.
And also the fact that nobody massages anymore.
Not anymore.
Like in the old days, people got together. You guys remember that. I don't remember that. Well, it's true. People used to just, you start with the feet.
Right.
Here, kick off your shoes.
So all the shoes are coming off now. And it's almost like a centipede of massaging. Everyone is linking. Everyone's doing something to someone else.
Right. And then it leads to a little sniffing.
Just a little bit.
Sniff the toes. Find out what's going on down there.
That smells good.
Yeah. Did you work out today?
And she says, I'm going to throw you for a loop, but I'm really into sucking feet. And your wife is a little like, I get, okay.
Uh-huh.
So she's sucking your wife's feet. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your balls are out.
Yeah.
Your balls are out. Because why? The Gold Bond was itchy. I got to get these out of my shorts.
Yeah.
And you tell her, I don't mean to offend you.
At 10:30 in my house, my balls come out.
They're
I know
out.
you happen to be here, but those are my rules.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And of course she goes, no, I love balls. And I really love to watch, you know, other women suck on balls. And your wife, of course, is like, well, I guess I'm going to play this. Let's have some fun.
Sure.
So your wife is sucking your balls. She's getting her toes licked.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a great duality.
And the girl
for her.
is texting because she's got other appointments that night.
Well, she's got to be in and out. I mean, you only paid for a couple hours.
Right. But the wife understands that she's texting, but it's really just because she's canceling plans with other people because she's having such a good time.
Correct. She's saying, listen, guy on the other side of town, I'm going to spend the night in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
So she fucks off all the other clients because she has nowhere to go now. And she's actually really into this. And at this point, she says, I want you guys to do me a favor. Why don't you stay out here? I want you both to take off all your clothes, count to 30, and then once you come in the bedroom. And your wife's like, how do you know where the bedroom is? And she's like, give me a fucking break.
I have Zillow.
Yeah, she knows. And I know how much this is worth, and I know what you paid for it, and I'm actually pretty impressed.
Yeah.
The tax assessment is amazing. She goes inside there. You guys start talking. He said, are we doing this? And your wife says, I've never been so excited.
By the way, why did you hide all the jewelry in the bedroom earlier? No reason. I just feel like, why have it out?
Why? It doesn't need to be left out. Things go in their place.
Yes.
You both go in the room at the exact same time. The door closes, and everything you've ever wanted to have happens in that moment in time. Everything. And how long does it last?
30 minutes.
30 minutes max.
Yep.
Right?
That's it.
You leave, take a shower, they're still having a great time. Right? The video cameras you set up, those are clutch.
And the fucking money that's coming in from the live stream,
it's unreal.
It's paying her off. This is free.
This is free. So basically you're making money now on this endeavor, which your wife is ultimately going to be happy about.
Which is why my wife was like, why are we wearing masks? I'm like, well, but I just feel like it's kinkier.
It's kink.
Fun.
And don't kink shame. We said that. We're not kink shaming, right? So when everyone is done and all things are said and done, there's just a little beautiful eye exchange between you and her. Just a wink, a nod, just like a little something. And your wife says, well, are we going to maybe see you again? Or what does the future hold?
Yeah.
And what does she say?
She says, it's up to your husband.
It's up to your husband. And that renegotiates the dominance that you have in your marriage.
Right. Yeah.
It's
up to the F-350.
That's right. It's up to the F-350.
Yeah, I love it.
With a wink and a nod and a twist of her cap, she takes off into the night.
I'm texting my wife right now. Listen, Andrew Santino, I want to plug some dates for you.
Do it, baby.
First of all.
Yeah, please.
You are going to be performing in...
I'm in Atlantic City. The 30th.
Yeah.
Right? May 30th.
May 30th, Atlantic City. Then you're going to be in Houston, Texas, July 9th at the Improv.
Yeah, baby.
The 9th through the 10th.
Yep.
Madison, Wisconsin sold out. Sorry, folks. You're a little fucking late.
But they're opening more seats now because they just got approved. The state of Wisconsin got approved for full cap because that was only 3/4 cap.
Wow.
So they just are going to release like 30 seats a show.
Comedy on Stage, great fucking club.
My favorite.
Nashville, Zanies, August 19th through the 21st.
Yep.
And then Boston, the Wilbur Theater in October. So get all your tickets. Go to andrewsantino.com. That's ANDREW Santino.com. Why did I spell that?
SANTINO. AndrewSantino.com.
Also, don't forget the podcast. Of course, it's called Bad Friends.
Yep. And Whiskey Ginger is the other one. Bad Friends is the one I do with the little Korean guy, Bobby Lee. And Whiskey Ginger I do with a lot of guests. I've had Fitz on. He'll have to come back. And
yeah, that's always fun.
It was really fun having a drink. And look at all this alcohol I have in front of me, too. We got this sent to us. Well, come see me live. That's what I want. AndrewSantino.com so I can hopefully one day get myself an F-350.
Trouble with your lawn? Don't forget getsunday.com/Fitzdog at $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. Andrew, what a fucking blast.
I love you.
Great hanging out with you, man. Love
amazing.
you too.
Thank you, brother.
See you at the clubs.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, and thanks to Midcoast Media. Beth Hoops doing a great job, and we'll talk to you guys soon. God bless America.